Hey everyone, this is Seth. I'm a mentor at Studio NPL. And actually, I'm not talking in this video. I pre-recorded this in a video I made about how to distribute your own podcast for free at home. And I'm actually looking at this video in Premiere Pro. This is Adobe's Creative Cloud software for video editing. It's used by professionals and amateurs alike. And I use this software to put together all the videos that I've made about how to podcast and also other videos that I've edited for the NPL Universe YouTube channel where you're watching this. So to give you a quick rundown of this software, in the top right corner, you have the video that I just showed you. This is a preview of all the clips that I've edited together. You can see all the clips that I've edited together on my timeline down here in the bottom right. Over here in the bottom left, these are my project files. So this is all of the raw footage that I've captured, whether it is me talking to the webcam or later on when I was capturing footage of me going through and demonstrating different websites and tools that I found. Even the music that I've used in the videos down here. And if I want to preview any of those before putting them on my editing timeline, then I can look at them in the top left. Back to the bottom right in the timeline, down here you can see it's divided into two halves. I have a top half of all my video channels, a bottom half of all my audio channels. In the video channels, you have video of me talking. That's the blue blocks. These pink blocks are actually graphical overlays. So right here I have text in the video, and that's put on the timeline with these pink sections. And then also I have purple sections, and these are my screen recordings. So if I go there, you can see me demonstrating the screen, and that's what this purple block does. So what I'm going to do is show you how I constructed a couple different segments in this video. One being just taking your footage and cutting it together like these small clips. Another one being taking graphics and applying motion to them, like right here. And then finally, toward the end, I use screen capture of me demonstrating how to walk through one of these services, as well as video of me that's made smaller in the bottom. I cropped both of these, so I'll show you how to do that. And then also I had a graphic at the bottom to show you exactly what website I was using. So I've made a new timeline right here. I'm going to show you a couple different things that I've done. First is that I am going to go to my project folder. I'm going to grab one of these video clips that I recorded and bring it over here. Now you can see in this audio that's recorded alongside the video, it's actually linked to it. They're the same color, so whenever I make a cut on this part, it's going to cut down here as well. You can unlink them to make it where they don't cut in case you want to have audio weaving between clips or something like that. But using the timeline to screen your footage is useful to me because I recorded a couple different times in this video, and I think I would mess a word up and stop, and then a couple seconds later start again. So what I have here are these dips in audio, and then it goes back up where I'm talking again, dip back down, I'm rereading my script, it goes back up, it goes back down again. So what you can do to delete these parts are that over here on the left side of your timeline, you have all these different tools. The one you're going to be using for cutting is the razor tool. Now you see on that little title that pops up, there's also a C in parentheses. That means that pressing the letter C on your keyboard is a shortcut to make it automatically switch to that. Now to switch back to your selection tool, you just press V. So those keys are right together on your keyboard if you look at it. So it's easy to switch back and forth, and this is a really useful shortcut for quick editing. So if I press C, I have my blade tool back, and you can see that this line that I'm going to cut appears both on the audio and video because they're linked together. So any cut I make on one is a cut that happens on the other as well if I don't unlink them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and just start cutting. So now you see it's created two different clips right there. I'm cutting out these silences. And I have a couple different portions here that are the exact same words and everything, but they're different attempts at those words and different takes. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to cut out all of these silences. And now I just have the parts where I'm speaking. I can go through and listen to that and see if those are good takes that I want to put in my video. Now, obviously, I've taken this a couple times. I may have taken a couple more attempts at this and recorded more takes, but though it takes more time to record more, it does give you more options in the editing room, so it will help you out in the long run whenever you're making choices at the end of your video production process when you're editing it together. Now, pretending that all of these are just great knockout takes and vital information, and they're not mistakes on the same information, what I can do is that if you click this empty space between your videos, it actually highlights it white, and if you press delete, it collapses the space between the two, so it will make the video seamless though it's a jump cut, because it's the same clip, it makes that video seamless. Whereas if I go back to before then, you see the video goes black, and it also goes silent because there's no audio track as well as no video track. So that's another quick shortcut for video editing, is that you can click the empty space, or sometimes people call that a slug on the editing timeline. You can click that and delete it, and that instantly collapses the space between those clips. Now I'm going to zoom in on my timeline here on this part that I want to show next, where I have a graphic right here that you can see. If I go over it, it's a text graphic. And so this is information that I want to reiterate. I'm speaking it in the video, but it's stuff that's important, and I want to represent it visually as well. So I've made a graphic, and you watch it animates onto the screen, and then as you keep going, it animates back off. So I'm going to copy this clip and then show you how I make a title and then animate that onto the screen using keyframe animation. So on my test timeline, I have that video that I had a graphic on. In my main timeline, I'm going to show you how to make a graphic and then how to animate it. So what I'll do is, right now I'm in the editing workflow. These are all workflows up at the top, and they're all focused on different elements of your video. They're geared to give you the tools to address different parts of your video whenever you want to edit them. One is for assembling your clips, one's for editing them together. One is for changing the color of your video. Effects, if you want to add audio effects or you want to edit some of your audio, the tools to do that are under there, and graphics are there. So to do this, it's actually a text graphic, so I'm going to go to graphics. And from there, we have this new look on the whole program. Really all that's changed is that we have some tools up here, and then we also have some options over here on the right side. What I'm going to do is click this T. That is a typing tool. You can also switch to that with the shortcut of the letter T on your keyboard. If you click that, now you have a cursor. You can add that anywhere and it'll start typing. So for this video, I just put sample graphic. I'm going to move that to the place that I want it to be ultimately in the video. Now you can see that after I've made the sample graphic as it appears right here, it also appears down here on my timeline where my cursor was whenever I added that graphic. You can shift it around your timeline to appear at different times. And also, if you select it in that right panel that appeared whenever we clicked the graphics workflow, you also have all these different options for text alignment, position, the opacity of the text. If you want it to be more translucent or transparent, you can change that. Also, we have typefaces that we can go through, and it gives you a sample of what each typeface looks like. So I'm going to change the typeface to this one. And then there are different styles of the typeface. You can make it bold, you can make it italicized, whatever you want to do. And you can also change the amount to which it is affected by that. One last change that I'll make in this panel is that for the appearance, I only have a fill color selected. I don't have any other kind of thing like a background shadow or a stroke. So I'm going to add a stroke, and a stroke is essentially a brush stroke on the outside or an outline. So I'm going to make the outline black just to make it pop, and I'm also going to drag this number of the width from 1 to make it even more visible. So now we have the graphic looking the way that we want, but to animate it onto the screen like I did, we have to go to another workflow, because right now, if we watch what the video looks like with this graphic, you see it just pops onto the screen, and then it just leaves. There's no animation to introduce it or anything. It's very abrupt. Not that that's bad. If that's your style, you can do that, but I'll show you how I animated it in my own video. To do that, we need to leave the graphics panel and go to the effects workflow. So from here, it opens up a panel on the left top corner. What this shows is every single effect on the item I have selected, which right now on my timeline is this graphic. So what I'm going to do is find the point in the video when I want my graphic to be at this position I've selected. So I'm going to select right here. Now what I want to do is go to position, and I want to click this toggling animation, and what it does is that now it has highlighted this blue triangle which means that at this frame, it will be at this position. But if I don't change its position in another frame, then it will stay at that position forever. So what I'm going to do is go back and go into the first frame of this. And now what I will do is change it to where it comes from, let's say, the top of the screen and then scrolls down. I will go above the screen, and now you see it has another blue diamond right there. So now watch what happens whenever I start this clip. So what it did is that it shifted from the position I selected for the first frame, and in the duration of the time between the first position I selected and the second position I selected, it gradually shifted, and it shifted evenly to scroll there and back. So what I'll do now is that I'm scrolling to the last frame that I want it to hold here without animating off the screen. And as you see, there's no blue on this diamond right here, which means that there's no anchor point for this animation. If this is the frame that I want it to start animating back, I'll click that blue diamond again to add a keyframe. So now it's blue again, and right here, it's going to hold that. But if I go to the last frame of this, it won't animate until I shift that position again. So what I'll do is I'm going to grab this, scroll it back off the screen, and since I changed the position, it automatically added a keyframe. If you don't like it, you can always remove it by clicking back off of it. But now this is what our title looks like now that we've added these anchor points for it to move through over the course of it being on the timeline. And so you can go through and tweak the exact number of frames for the animation to make it more consistent, or maybe to make it more fluid. And you can always make it shift throughout the video. It doesn't have to shift just on the screen, back off the screen. It can shift anywhere throughout it. And you can also do this with the scale of it. You can toggle animation on for that. All of these effects over in the side panel have animation toggles that you can do. So you can rotate it as well between different points of the video. And all of these animations depend upon how long of a duration you put between anchor points and keyframes. So that's how you simply animate text on the screen and back off the screen in Premiere. So now I'm back on the main view of my timeline from the video that I made, and I want to show you one more portion of this video and how I put it together. So the beginning half of the video is mainly me talking to the camera, but the latter half is me demonstrating how to go through signing up for one of these tools and using it to distribute your podcast. And so I've highlighted one. You can see on the preview window right here that there are three main components to this frame. The first being me talking to the camera like normal, only now it's not taking up the full frame, it's taking up a smaller portion. Another component is the screen capture of me using this website. It's a live screen recording that I use. A lot of laptops come with screen recording tools that will record whatever goes to its display. And then at the very bottom, I also have a text box, another graphic like the one that I just showed you. Only this one doesn't have animation on it. This one stays on the screen the whole time and remains static, just to show exactly what tool I'm using in case people want to go and find that themselves. So I'll show you how I put these components together and the ways that I was able to manipulate the footage. Alright, so I'm back on my sample timeline, and what I have is the three main components that I use to construct that sequence in my other video. The video of me talking to the camera, I have a screen recording right here, and that's me demonstrating how to use the website that I was showing. And then I also have sample text, which in the case of the video showed the exact name of the website I was using, but here it's just text. But I'm going to show you how to manipulate all of these to construct it in the same way that I did in that video. So first of all, the screen recording of that website is actually humongous. It overflows past the actual video frame. So what I need to do first is that I need to make it smaller so that you catch everything you need in the video frame. So to do that, what you need to do is go to Effects. This is going to be similar to when I was animating that text box, but in this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to scale it down. Right now it's at 100% scale, which is bigger than the video frame that we have. So I'm going to shrink the scale. So now we have the whole screen capture. So now that I've scaled it down, I'm actually going to toggle off the sample text little graphic that I have right there to make it simpler. So as you can see in this video, I also have the entire screen capturing, which means I have the top of my screen, things off to the side that aren't really important. So what I need to do first is that I need to crop this video. And that's going to be over here in this effects panel to the side. You have a library of different effects, and I believe under transform we have a crop. So I'm going to take this video effect, I'm going to drag it onto my video on the timeline. And so after I do that, you see in this top left panel, you also have a crop effect now pop up that wasn't there before. So what you can do is you can drag all these numbers or type in exact percentages if you want to of how much you want to crop off of each side. So I want to take a little bit off the top. You have to be careful. And of course you can always make the preview window bigger so you can get more accurate cropping. So I'm going to crop each of these dimensions and I'll be back in a second. So now that I have the website roughly isolated on the computer screen, what I'll do now is that you can change the position of it. So you can change this to adapt to where you want it to be on the screen. You can change the scale to fill up the entire screen. And I'm also going to make it go to the top. So what you'll notice is that the web page is appearing over my webcam feed, which is not the way that it appeared in my video. I actually had the webcam very small and also sitting at the front of all of the elements. So the reason for that is that the webcam video is on video channel 1, so it sits underneath video channel 2, which is the website capture. So what I'm going to do for this is that I'm going to drag this down to channel 1, drag my webcam up to channel 2, and then move this back over. So now they're still synchronized in time as they were earlier, but now you have my webcam feed sitting on top of that. So to change the webcam size, we're going to click this and highlight it to pull up its effects panel. And so now you can change the scale and position just like you did on the other video. And so you can just change how it's positioned. So now we have a video of me using this website and a video of what I'm doing on the website. So now I'm ready to untoggle that text right there. So first of all, I'm going to select that and move the text down a little bit so that it's not blocking any of the website. And that's on the y-axis. I'm going to drag that down a little bit. On the x-axis, I'm going to move it back some too so that it's in the corner. Alright, so now it's in that position that I want it to be in, and that's how you edit all of these elements to be in sequence. Now, if you want the text to take up less of the video, first of all, you can cut it the same way that you cut the rest of your footage by just snipping, and now you have two different text boxes. Another way you can do this is that you can grab the corner right here. The cursor changes to this like in frame kind of bookend icon. You can grab it, drag it in to make it shorter, or you can drag it out to go on forever. You can also do this with your other video capture options like the webcam feed or the screen capture. The only issue is that with these ones, since you had a limited recording time, you can only drag them in, but dragging them out only has a certain limit that it will go to, and you can't extend it in time beyond that amount of footage you recorded. And so that's how I made 3 main portions using different tools here in Premiere Pro. And these are tools that you can use also whenever you use Premiere Pro. If you're interested in learning more about Premiere Pro or other video editing or creative softwares, you can do that using lynda.com, which you have access to their tutorials through your library card. Thanks for watching, and make sure you check back on NPL Universe for more tutorials on video editing and all kinds of other things.